It's a 5-point scale. 1 meaning I'm chilling, and 5 meaning I am in full-blown panic mode. Anxiety is through the roof. Get me out of here as soon as you can. In this video, I'm breaking down all 9 of my solo dates, and at the end, I'll tell you if I would do it again and leave you with a couple of pro tips to hopefully make leaving your house a little bit easier. I brunched at this cute little cafe called Roost. To make it less anxiety inducing, I intentionally sat in a window table and I could people watch everybody else in the restaurant while I enjoyed my meal. I intentionally didn't spend a ton of time on my phone, if any, and because I couldn't decide if I wanted pancakes or an egg white omelet, I got them both. Hiking, it's a 1 out of 5, and honestly, it might be the most underrated solo date on this list. There's just something about getting outside, getting in nature, enjoying it the way God intended, and moving your body. It makes feeling alone, being solo, completely natural. There's no performance, nobody's watching you, you are just a person on a trail, passing another person on a trail. To make this a little less anxiety-inducing for me, even though it is low on the anxiety meter, is I pick a trail or a trailhead that I've done before. So the only unknown part is me, myself, and I, not the route, the trail, or the direction. I went to a networking event at the Fox Theater downtown. It was a professional event focused on frontline leaders. I was in full panic mode. Any networking event where I don't know somebody, 5 out of 5. Get me out of here. You walk in, you don't know anyone, everybody already seems to be talking to someone. It took all of my courage and energy just to ask this stranger if I could sit next to him. My tip for making this easier? Nothing. I got nothing. I hid in the bathroom the whole time. Swing, bada bada swing, let's talk baseball. I think what is different about this solo date as opposed to the others is that it's not a 4.5 out of 5 on the anxiety meter because the activity is anxiety inducing, but I would say the setting, environment, surroundings is anxiety inducing. It's crowded. I think just the sheer amount of people in the area, elbows you gotta throw to get to the bathroom, lines you gotta wait in to get the pretzel that's as big as your face. People are there to watch a game, they're not there to watch you. So that's my tip for making it a lot less anxious. And then whenever I find that crowds or the environment specifically makes me anxious, I typically just go try to find a quiet corner by myself, stare down at your feet until you can get your bearings and then dive back in. This one was actually a networking baseball game. So I went to a baseball game to see the Braves play with a bunch of people that are in my profession, but I didn't know them. It ended up being so fun, and I stayed in contact with one of the guys that I met. I would say even though I didn't know anybody, it didn't take long for me to just start chatting with others, talking about work, and the anxiety definitely reduced quite quickly. If you are a socially anxious person like me, get a massage. This could be your first solo date. It's an act of self-care. You literally don't even need to talk to anyone. You're face down in a room that smells like lavender. There's probably some piano or jazz playing on a Bose speaker, and it's so relaxing. I honestly don't have any tips for making this easier because it is truly a 1 out of 5 on the anxiety meter. There's nothing to do except exist and maybe tell your masseuse, less pressure please, more pressure please. Book it online so you don't even need to make a phone call. I did not expect to love birdwatching as much as I do. It is your time. I don't know about you, but birdsong is actually one of my favorite sounds on the planet. Therefore, birds, I think, are becoming one of my favorite animals on the planet. There's a built-in reason not to talk to anybody. I actually use this app called Merlin ID. As soon as I step outside, I can hit record and it identifies all of the birds that are around me. This one is an American robin. I've got some mourning doves, mockingbirds, and I've got some regular crows, y'all. The only anxiety-inducing part is really just if you're worried about other people who pass you on the sidewalk, on the street, in the park, that should be the least of your concerns, y'all. Cafe days are entirely dependent on the vibe, so make sure that you're with the right crowd, you've got a good seat for people watching, and enjoy yourself. Let's talk museums, art or otherwise. Still slightly anxiety inducing, just a bit lower on the scale. Everybody is there to explore the art, see the exhibits. Maybe there's other people there that have gone solo as well. So I think that takes out a lot of the anxiety in terms of worrying about people judging me or people staring at me or whatever. Nobody really questions why or if you're by yourself at a museum because everyone's just looking at things. But if you ever find that museum feels a little bit overwhelming, keep it moving. Just keep your feet moving, explore as much as you can, and just remember you can leave at any time. Workout classes, 2 out of 5 on the anxiety meter. It is always highest when I start, especially if I'm in a class where I don't know anybody, or even if I'm taking a new instructor and I'm not sure how their style is going to be. Once I find my spot and I am comfortable, the class starts and I completely forgot that I came alone, because frankly, we're all just trying to survive. The advice that you might hear to make this less anxiety inducing is to get there early, but honestly, my advice would be get there like 2 minutes before class starts. That way you're not spending time standing around, making awkward eye contact with people. There's less time for anxiety to build. You can just arrive, put your stuff down, get ready. Hopefully you're doing some stretching, and then get right into it. Whenever you want to just go work out solo, get a mat, find a corner, and do your own thing. It also helps me to actually work out or do an exercise that I'm really, really good at. So for me, my push-up form and just trying to get as many as I can builds my confidence because I'm really just out here trying to PR for myself. I'm not really worried about what everybody else is working on. And the same is true for everyone else. Everyone else is just trying to pick up something heavy and put it down and go home. If you find workout classes give you too much anxiety to start with something that you're good at or start with something that makes you feel confident and strong. Essentially, would I do it again? If you're looking for a solo date, would I recommend this activity to you? Going to brunch was a 3.5 on the anxiety meter, and it just depends on where I'm going, what the vibe of the place is. If I'm able to find a spot that's tucked away, maybe in the back of a restaurant, in a corner, in a booth, the vibes have to be there. If I'm going to leave my house and venture out to eat a meal by myself. Honestly, that's a 5 out of 5 on the anxiety meter for me. But the particular place I went to, I was really chilling. But generally speaking, it makes me so uncomfy to eat by myself. If it's brunch, lunch, dinner, you name it, I think I'm always going to feel anxious. I'm always going to feel like everybody's looking at me or staring at me or whatever. Depending on the place and how adventurous I am feeling, I would say depends. Hiking or some sort of outdoor trail, yes, 100% duh, would repeat. I love being outside. I love nature. Would recommend, would repeat. This was a very easy, low effort solo date. Networking event, depends. For this specific event, the content of the conference wasn't really my speed, wasn't really geared toward me. I essentially have to put on like a persona, if you will. Like I need my inner extrovert to come out to play. That's not to say that I'm not my genuine, authentic, approachable self. But as an introvert, there's just like a push that we need to do to get out there in social situations. So if I knew somebody at this networking event, yeah, sure, would repeat, would do it again. If you're telling me I had to go to another networking event solo dolo, depends. I will say for this specific event, parking did cost me a mint. So it would be a no on the would repeat for that location specifically because to park downtown, it's just stupid expensive for no reason. Baseball game depends. And my qualifier is I'm not a big fan of baseball. I know that this video says otherwise with all the baseball this summer, but baseball's not my sport of choice. So would I go to another sporting event solo? Heck yeah. I love soccer. We've got a great local soccer team, football, basketball. It reminds me of a movie theater. Everybody's there to watch the game. Maybe you're there, have a good time, or if you're like me for baseball games specifically, I'm there for the vibes, the footlong hot dog, and the pretzel as big as my head. So I absolutely would go to a game again if the tickets were free, baseball specifically, but would definitely go to another sporting event. Any other sport, honestly, except baseball. Massage and birdwatching, we can smash into the heck yes category. Literally no anxiety at all. Massage, I fall asleep 99.9% of the time if the masseuse is really good. So that requires zero social interaction. And the only thing that I say to my masseuse the majority of the time is more pressure, less pressure. Very little effort. Bird watching, same deal. Would repeat. I've got a lot of cool birds in my area, and I have really grown to enjoy bird watching, which goes to show you that I am 30 going on 90. But these two are just easy, would repeat, low barrier to entry. They don't require a ton, and I can still get out there, get outside of my house, and do something interesting. Cafe day. If you watched my what's in my bag for a cafe day vlog, I will leave that in the description for you. I described why I would not repeat this. I think that day, that cafe, that crowd, just like I couldn't. But if I went maybe earlier in the day where it was less crowded, or I could find the right spot, a corner, a booth, a window seat, like something away from the crowd. Definitely a seat away from the queue. So when people go to order drinks and food and whatever, I don't want to be sitting close to the register. I don't want to smell the coffee. I just want to be like upstairs doing my own thing. So finding a cafe that I feel comfortable in. And I'm sure that if I went to the same one over and over again, I would build up that comfort level and the anxiety meter would slowly creep towards one where I'm feeling mad chill and mad calm. Museum would repeat. This reminds me again of a movie theater. People are there to do a specific thing. In a museum, people are there to see exhibits. They're there to walk around. I don't feel as awkward and anxious when I'm in any museum, arts or otherwise, because I'm walking around looking at stuff. What helps me so much in public places like this is that even though you know that everybody is there for the exhibit or whatever, or the show, and they're not there for you, I have to actively remind myself that nobody's paying attention to me. Nobody cares about me. Because think about it for yourself, right? We're so in our heads and worried about what everybody else is doing and judging us and what they're thinking and whatever. And I just feel like everybody else is doing that simultaneously. And so instead of getting a bunch of people judging me in public, I think you get a bunch of people in their own heads wondering if I'm judging them in the same way that I'm in my own head wondering if they're judging me. So at the end of the day, none of us are judging each other and everyone's just minding their own business and doing their thing. Finally, we've got workout class, which yes, 10 out of 10 would repeat. If I go to a workout class at a place that I've never been to before, am I anxious? Yeah. Is there a bit of that like gym intimidation or whatever? Sure. But I love moving my body. I love being active. I love trying new things. There was a season of life where I was using ClassPass. And so almost every day I was doing a brand new class by myself, knowing no one, having never done that class before. And you just go and you figure it out. And if the coach or the instructor or the trainer is good, like they are going to foster a welcoming environment and help you when your form is off. And the people next to you on your mat are going to give you some tips, or you can make eye contact with somebody as you're both struggling to do your 12th burpee, right? I just feel like workout classes specifically, I would repeat that all day, up and down, left and right, because I get the benefit of moving my body. Maybe I meet somebody new. Like I literally have people in my life that I call my Pilates friends. Not because we can't hang out outside of Pilates, but literally when I go to a specific Pilates studio, I know that woman's going to be on her mat right next to me, and we're going to vibe and chill in class and struggle and work hard. And then we're going to leave class and go our separate ways, regardless of the type of class or the duration of class. Working out is definitely something that I would repeat solo. Pro tip number 1, start solo on a small scale. If the idea of any of these 9 solo dates feels like too much, don't start with the big stuff. Don't start with the 5 out of 5 anxiety-inducing network event. Start with something easeful, something you already do. For me, that's gaming. In the comfort of my own home, I can game with my friends, I can game with family, or complete strangers online who could not care less who I am and how many times I've worn these same pajama pants. It is a judgment-free zone, no leaving your house required. And it still counts as a solo date. Self-care time. Sometimes the smallest, lowest stakes version of a thing is exactly what builds enough confidence to try the next thing. Pro tip number 2, dress to impress yourself. Not those strangers at that brunch spot who won't remember you anyway. Wear the thing that makes you feel like the main character of your own life. When I feel good in what I'm wearing, I spend a lot less time worrying about everyone else, worrying if everybody's judging me or letting my anxiety take over, and a lot more time trying not to trip in these green sling bags. Solo dates sound great on paper, but can be so anxiety-inducing in real life. So start small. Try something you already do at home, and let me know in the comments how it goes. Remember, you are worth dating, even if it is a little uncomfy. If this solo date ranking was the push you needed to get out of your house, share with a friend. And if you want to build a softer, more intentional life but don't know how, subscribe, because that's what this channel is all about. I share daily vlogs, hobbies, productivity tips, and the small everyday things that help you build a life you don't need a vacation from. Until next time, keep it cozy.